Commander Zara Chen stood on the bridge of the Defiance, watching through the viewport as the hegemony's massive fleet assembled around Earth. 300 capital ships, each one capable of cracking a moon, formed a perfect sphere around humanity's birth world. For 73 years, the galactic hegemony had tried to break the human spirit through blockades, propaganda, and cultural suppression. Today, they had come to finish what they started. "Admiral Thekvar is hailing us," reported. "Lieutenant Morrison from the communications station." "Put him through," Chen replied, her voice steady despite knowing this would likely be humanity's final hour. The holographic projection materialized before her, a towering reptilian figure with cold, golden eyes and scales that seemed to absorb light. Admiral Thekvar had personally overseen the destruction of 17 human colonies. Today, he had come for the heart of human civilization. "Commander Chen," Thekvar's voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "You will surrender unconditionally. Your species has proven too volatile for galactic peace. We have decided on a final solution." Chen's jaw tightened. "And what makes you think we'll go quietly?" "Because," Thekvar gestured to his fleet, "resistance is mathematically impossible. Our ships outnumber yours 50 to 1. Our technology is centuries ahead of yours. Your weapons cannot penetrate our shields." What Thekvar didn't know, what the entire hegemony had failed to understand, was that humans had spent those 73 years of isolation not cowering, but learning. Every captured hegemony ship had been dissected. Every piece of alien technology had been reverse-engineered and improved upon. Most importantly, humans had discovered something the galaxy's elder races had forgotten: the power of desperate innovation. "You're right about one thing," Chen said, allowing herself a small smile. "We are volatile." She cut the transmission and turned to her crew. "All ships, execute Protocol Genesis. Across Earth's orbital space, seemingly inferior human vessels began a transformation that defied everything the hegemony knew about physics. The hulls of destroyers and cruisers split open like flowers, revealing cores that pulsed with contained singularities. Humanity had weaponized black holes. But that wasn't the surprise that would echo through galactic history. As the hegemony fleet moved to attack, something extraordinary happened. The space around Earth began to ripple. Not with weapons or shields, but with mathematics. Humanity had cracked the fundamental code that governed reality itself, the quantum equations that the ancient precursors had used to build their impossible technologies. The first hegemony ship to fire found its energy beam turned back on itself, not by reflection, but by a localized inversion of causality. The beam struck its own ship before it was fired. 12 more vessels met similar fates as their own weapons became temporal paradoxes. "Impossible," Thekvar snarled, his composure finally cracking. "The precursor technology was lost millennia ago." Chen's face appeared on his screen again, but now she wasn't alone. Behind her stood representatives of species the hegemony thought extinct: the ethereal architects, the void dancers, the quantum shepherds. All the races the hegemony had disappeared over the centuries. "You made one critical error," Chen said. "You assumed that hiding us away would make us weak. Instead, you gave us time to find your other victims. Every species you've erased found refuge with us. Every piece of lost knowledge, every forgotten technology. We preserved it all." The truth hit Thekvar like a physical blow. Earth hadn't been isolated. It had been a gathering point. While the hegemony celebrated their dominance over a diminished galaxy, humanity had been building a coalition of the supposedly extinct. The space around the hegemony fleet began to fold. Ships found themselves translated not through space, but through dimensions the hegemony couldn't perceive. They emerged in the same position, but in a reality where their weapons had never been invented, their shields had never been designed. "This is what you never understood about humans," Chen continued, her voice now carried across every communication channel in the galaxy. "We don't just adapt, we transform. You tried to erase us from the galactic community, so we rewrote the rules of existence itself." One by one, the hegemony ships began to simply cease, not destroyed, but unmade, written out of reality with the same casual precision with which the hegemony had written entire species out of history. Their crews found themselves transported to the surface of worlds they had depopulated, forced to rebuild what they had destroyed. Admiral Thekvar's ship was the last to go. As reality began to edit itself around him, he found himself face to face with Chen one final time. "Why?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Why not simply destroy us?" "Because," Chen replied, "that would make us like you. Instead, we're giving you something you never gave your victims, a chance to be better." As the last hegemony vessel faded from existence, Earth stood revealed not as humanity's homeworld, but as the galaxy's new beginning. The planets that had been scorched bare began to bloom with impossible gardens, dead stars rekindled. Lost civilizations found themselves written back into the cosmic story. Humanity had learned the ultimate lesson from their isolation. Sometimes, to save the galaxy, you had to rewrite it entirely. Chen looked out at the stars, no longer distant points of light, but close neighbors in a universe where distance itself had become negotiable. The hegemony had tried to erase humanity from the galactic story. Instead, humanity had become the authors of a new chapter entirely. In the depths of space, the message that would define the new galactic age began transmitting on every frequency, in every language that had ever existed. "This is Earth. We remember everyone you forgot. We found everyone you lost. The age of erasure is over. The age of restoration begins now." The galaxy held its breath, and then, slowly, it began to heal.